Different Man is released in UK cinemas from tomorrow, the 4th of October.
Yeah, Adam Pearson, Sebastian Stan joined us now. The reason we were laughing, because actually you were watching that, Sebastian, you were saying we had a lot of fun making this film.
We did. I mean, it was really special even from reading it and, you know, just so unpredictable and a lot of fun. And yeah.
We watched it yesterday, Adam, and it's a fascinating film. I think I've sort of tried to write down, it's fascinating, it's intriguing, it's difficult, it's challenging, it's funny, it's heartbreaking, it's sad. It's a complicated, complex film, isn't it?
And it's really kind of genre bending. And full credit to writer-director Aaron Schoenberg. Everything there was on the script. Like, no one's improvising, no one's like coming in and waxing lyrical or what have you. And he's a credit to himself for what he's done here. And yeah, we shot it in New York, 22 days. Also, we shot it on tape. We were on Super 16, which is another added little bit of pressure. But no, it's a thoroughly enjoyable experience. Got to work with this guy. Yeah. Right here. So, yeah, and now out tomorrow, we couldn't be happier. And
you play a character called Oswald in the movie. I mean, it truly is. You're absolutely right. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. You can't compare it to anything. No. You play a character called Oswald, and what's so interesting about the character is he's not black and white. He's not a hero, he's not a villain, he's just human. Mm.
And he just turns up. There's no sort of like suspense or sort of like jump scare or any of the old tropes that we normally see around disfigurement of kind of villainy, victimhood or false heroism. Yeah. He's just a guy that just charms his way through life, and then the audience are left to make up their own mind as to whether or not he's in the right place at the right time too much or any of that McGovern.
And we should explain, Sebastian, your character starts the film with a serious facial disfigurement.
With neurofibromatosis. Yeah.
And then gets this miracle cure.
Yeah, he's an aspiring actor and, you know, lives alone. And so in sort of some stereotypical fashion, as we might have expected. And then he undergoes this surgery and sort of thinks his dreams are going to come true, and it's very much the opposite.
And you actually wore some of the prosthetics. It was the same prosthetics, actually, as the Penguin. We had Colin Farrell in the other week.
Yeah, Colin Farrell was in.
But you actually wore some of the prosthetics as well, going around New York. How did you feel, and what did you find?
Well, it was extremely isolating. I was very scared. I mean, you stand out, obviously, and there's a powerless feeling to it. At least that was my experience. I was trying to create the backstory of the character and find out sort of where he's come from. Obviously, I've spoken to Adam a lot, and he's been very generous to share some of his experience with me. But Edward, my character, really is alone in the world. And as I always say, I feel people aren't very good liars. You know, you really start to feel kind of the uncomfortability, and it really pointed out that we still have to normalize this idea of being different. You know, we have to kind of bring that more into the forefront so that we have a better way for people to be curious rather than be distanced.
And from your perspective, Adam, I know you work closely with Sebastian on this, but to have the Winter Soldier, somebody who is known as a superhero character in a big film, playing this role that is reflective of your life. And I know that he was trying to sort of mimic some of your movements and some of your rhythms and patterns. How does that feel for you, and what was it like?
I mean, if you're not going to go into this wanting to be open, honest and vulnerable with each other as actors, we've got no right to ask the audience to do the same when it comes to the finished product. And if you're going to do something, you've got to do it well. And that was like really important from day one to kind of hop on a Zoom, be really emotional, honest to the point of being visceral, to help sort of like equip each other to be able to do this and to get the best performances we could on tape at the end of the day when it's all said and done. And I think we got there. So that's for the audiences to decide
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Oh, well, I mean, from our perspective, it is an extraordinary watch. It really is. And asks you questions all the way through. You're constantly asking, like,
Yes.
how would I react and what's
Yes.
my approach to these things, which I think is what it is. I love the fact, though, Sebastian, you work closely with Adam on this. Your new film that's coming out, Donald Trump, you're playing Trump. Have you been working closely with Trump as well? What did you do?
Adam, I should have called you as well for that. No, he seems to have his hands full, so I was on my own there.
You often talk, I think, in the past about you making decisions, you're worried about making decisions that will be a mistake. Is that, I mean, because some of these roles, they're really challenging, and you take and play a character like Donald Trump in a role that's coming up to an American election. Is that one of those things that your friends were saying, are you really sure you want to do Donald Trump?
A lot of people told me to not do it, and I can understand that, you know. But I'm at a place in my life where I want to ask questions, and not just for myself, but I want to be part of a conversation that I think reflects the times that we're in, brings up issues that maybe are not always comfortable, but tries to get a little bit closer to the truth in some capacity. And I don't know how else to do that except to try and go there into the storm, if you will.
Yeah.
And understand what happened. You know, we're talking about a man that is so beloved and so hated in all these extreme ways. And I think it's important to understand why.
And how have you been doing the research for the part?
Well, I mean, fortunately, there's a lot of material out there. I mean, information.
He's not been shy, has he?
No.
Well, but I mean, going back into the 70s and the 80s, and really a time that many people have forgotten. You know, I mean, everyone's very familiar with him now, but back then, you know, he was very different, and there is, you know, there's the Rona Barrett that was really helpful. There's all his appearances on Oprah and Larry King, Barbara Walters. He was on the cover of GQ, Time Magazine, New York Times. I mean, all that stuff is available to people, so there was a lot to draw from. But it's interesting because it seems to me that there's a very different person there, and so how did it all evolve to this?
Yeah, makes an interesting story. Is it true you used to work in cinemas and used to sell the
I
popcorn?
did. I was an usher, yeah.
You were an usher in the cinema?
I can't eat popcorn anymore because I've eaten it so much now. But yeah, when I was 15, yeah.
Amazing. And now you're making the films that everyone's eating popcorn watching as well.
And talking about...
Absolutely.
And, pushing boundaries.
Thank you both for coming in, Adam. It's lovely to meet you. Sebastian, thank you for coming in as well. As we were saying, A Different Man's released in UK cinemas from tomorrow, which is the 4th of October. It's a fascinating watch, and I think we'll ask lots of questions of the audience, which are the questions we want to be asking, right?
Thank you.
Great to see you both.